So, lipstick on my teeth. Good morning. This is Travel Chat. This is the daily vlog where I use my super long commute to work through my personal development and talk it out. Usually I am talking about something that's going on in my head right now. Like I just talk it out, it helps me gain clarity. And sometimes, most times, always, I have an epiphany every day. Every day I'm learning something new, and lately I've been doing topics on the show, so I haven't been like exactly talking about all my epiphanies every day, but I work them into whatever the topic is. Today I just want to purely focus on the epiphany that I've had in the last 24 hours and not really on a specific topic, but I guess it's its own topic. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to keep my camera from sliding down, but I also have to watch the road. So if the camera slides down and I don't notice it, it's because I'm driving. All right, so this is what kind of led up to this revelation. In the month of September, the challenge in one of my coaching groups is for us to stop doing the things that we do in order to manifest something that we want. So it's kind of a weird request, because so here's the thing. So when you are a deliberate creator and you learn about all these different practices that you can do to like get your mind focused and allow things to come into your life, you end up with like this list of practices that you can do in order to allow the things that you want to come into your life. And the list includes things that you love to do and also things that are kind of like tedious, but you do them because it's out of like the human need to like do something in order for something to happen. And so our coaching group is experimenting with letting all that stuff go, only doing the things that really feel good, only doing those practices from that list of practices that you could possibly do, which is long. There's a lot of things that you could do, but only do the ones that just you truly would do. Even if there was nothing that you wanted, what would you truly want to do? And so it started with that, and that was like the last week of August. So now we're in the first week of September, and I've been thinking about this because I've been only doing the things that I really like to do. So I like to meditate. I love the feeling that I get when I meditate. I love the feeling that I get when I quiet my mind. Not the exact meditation, but it's the when I can realize, when I can feel that detachment from feeling my body and just kind of feeling like floating, or feeling like there's no chatter in my head. And I love that because the more I practice it, the easier it gets and the longer it lasts, where all the conflicting opinions that are in my head back and forth, you should do this, no, you should do that, you should go here, you should go there, that all gets quiet, and I'm able to really focus on what I want to do next. And that just totally cures anxiety. And so I love that. I love that feeling of not feeling anxious, feeling like everything's working out, everything's going to be fine. I don't have to make a decision. Decisions just pop in front of me and I follow them. It's a wonderful feeling. So I was like, well, that's one thing I would definitely do. Even if I had nothing that I truly wanted, I would still do that. And the other thing is visualization, also known as daydreaming. I love to daydream. I've talked about daydreaming so many times on this show. I love to daydream. I was daydreaming in a meeting yesterday, like seriously daydreaming. Like when I say daydream, I mean all in, like all five senses, you're there. You know, you can hear the music playing, you can feel, you know, the sand, the sunshine. Yeah, I'm a little bit drowsy here. But, so I daydream and they're vivid and I love it and I enjoy it. And so I decided, yeah, I'd still do that even if I had nothing I wanted. Hi, Diane. And the other thing that I was doing that I didn't necessarily love is journaling, surprisingly, right? Like, I love journaling, but I was feeling pretty burned out on my journal. And what I realized is that it's not the journaling, it's the guilt. That's what it is. It's the guilt that I feel if I skip a day. Because what I was doing is I made this Imagine Your Life journal, and it used to be called the Laser Focus Vision Journal. But when I started doing a lot of imagination stuff, it kind of morphed. But it's probably going to be two different things if I ever, like, when I actually make it for like other people to use, make it for someone else to use, there's room for two different products. But anyway, so the one that I was recently using was the Imagine Your Life journal, and I love to do it, but the problem is that I was holding myself to it. Whoopsie. I was holding myself to it like a chore, and that is my human need to put in effort for something, right? And I've talked before about like my aversion to habit tracking, because habit tracking to me is like a punishment. I don't know why. I have to change my mind around this. Which luckily, on the most recent Michelle and Amy show, Amy was talking about her struggle with habit tracking, and she's the habit tracker girl. So Amy was talking about how she overcame her thinking about habit tracking, and the way she was thinking about it is the exact way I think about it. Like, you get so excited, like today is September the 4th. You're so pumped, you're like, yeah, I've been doing this, 4 days in a row, did great. And then like tonight, because what I was doing, I was journaling twice a day. I was journaling when I first wake up in the morning and when I was going to bed at night, and which was great. It was wonderful. But there was like a couple days where I got off track, or things happen, or life happens, or you wake up late, and it just felt like almost like superstition. Like, if you don't write in your journal, good things are not going to happen. And the rebel in me was like, forget that. Good things can happen if I don't write my journal. I'm not going to write my journal the next day either. And it just kind of spirals out of control. This sounds ridiculous, but this is really what goes on in my head, which is why I like to quiet my mind. So it's like, I skip a couple days in my journal. I feel super guilty. This is why journals should not have dates on them. It shouldn't be dated. You should be able to put your own date. That way, if you miss a week, you can come back to it without feeling like you've wasted, 7 or 10 pages. So when we were in the coaching call, I think it was last week, and he announced this was going to be the challenge for September, I thought immediately of journaling, because he said, okay, don't do any of your manifestation practices unless it's something you really honestly love to do. And I was like, oh, that's it, journaling's out. Because, and this is the crazy thing, this is, I think, what's left over from being like formally educated, is that it's my journal. If I didn't tell you right just now that I had this Imagine Your Life journal that I was using in the morning and at night, you wouldn't even know it. So why am I holding myself to using this journal as though it's going to be turned in for a grade, or as though, I better have every page filled out. You better. So it's like, I'm sitting here, beating myself up over something that I gave myself. I can stop using it and start using it. But instead of just giving myself permission to say, you know what, I'm a little bit burned out on journaling right now, I'm going to hit pause, and wait, until I feel like journaling again. Just like I deleted Instagram. And was like, I'm burned out on Instagram right now. It's sucking up too much of my time. I could be using that time to create my customer hub. And I delete Instagram. I gave myself permission to do that. So why didn't I just give myself permission to take a break from journaling? I don't know. But when he said, stop doing things that you don't love, it was like he gave me permission to stop journaling. So I stopped. So now I'm only doing the things that I love. But yesterday I had this epiphany, 2 epiphanies, that happened as I was kind of thinking about. I had let it go. I was like, oh, no more journaling. And then here I go. I listened to Abraham Hicks yesterday morning, and there's this guy on there who's talking about how he journaled, and it was amazing, but he didn't do it the way I was doing it. And here's the thing. So what he did was he journaled out. He took one time and he wrote out everything, the way he wanted his life to look like. And we had talked about this about a month ago, probably. I was telling you guys about journaling, about writing out the way you want your life to look like from 5 years down in the future. So you're looking back and you're like, I'm so grateful that this happened, that happened. I'm so thankful that this was this way and that was that way. And there are things that you want now, but you're talking about it like it already happened. And that's why I call it the Imagine Your Life Journal. And so what I was doing was writing pieces of that every day, morning, twice a day. So I would write as much as I had time to write, and it became like a chore because, that's a lot. And then you feel like, hey, Mona, you feel like, okay, if I've written out, the way I want my career to look and the way I want my home to look, and now I gotta go. And then I'm like, oh no, I can't go yet because I didn't write that I need I want my kids to be healthy and I want them to be brilliant and safe, and all that stuff. And I started to think, okay, it's like superstition, right? I'm like, oh no, if I don't write that I want my kids to be healthy and brilliant and safe, they could, end up, there's like all these school shootings and stuff. I'm like, oh no, I don't want that. So I got to make sure I write. And it just became this chore. Like anxiety crept in to this activity that was supposed to reduce anxiety. And, then it was like, oh, what else did I leave off? I left off, my marriage. I left off, my self-care, and it was like every day I was like, I cannot write this entire dissertation every single day. Like, I just don't have time. And then sometimes I'm sleepy and I'm just like, can I skip the journaling tonight? And it became like this huge effort, right? So I heard on Abraham Hicks, this guy said he sat down and he wrote out his grand plan, this wonderful thing, the same thing I was doing, but he wrote it for everything comprehensively once and for all. And then he just read it twice a day. He read it out loud to himself when he first woke up in the morning with emotion, because you got to put emotion in there if you really want the universe to pay attention. If you really want to know the language of God, it's emotion. If you want God to hear your prayers, emotion, and not sad sack Sally emotion, but like real, like joyful, hopeful, happy, enthusiastic emotion. So he did that. He read it out twice a day, and he was reading it twice a day. And I'm like, what? Like, duh. Like, why am I writing this thing out twice a day? Well, I know why I was doing it, because in Think and Grow Rich, they tell you to write it twice a day. And it's a lot. It's a lot to write. But in Think and Grow Rich, I guess if you're like really want to be a powerful manifestor, you write it twice a day. But if you kind of want to be a powerful manifestor, you just say it aloud twice a day. But you know what? In all honesty, it doesn't matter. Either way, if you have the intention set and you review it somehow twice a day, that's all the difference that it'll make. So this particular guy, just to wrap up that story, is that he got everything on his list. Like everything he wanted, his life just unfolded like that. Because he was so excited and so grateful that it had already happened, like I was telling you about before, your brain is hearing you and saying like, what? We don't have, okay, let me make sure that I point out to you where the next steps are to get exactly what you think we already have, because we don't already have it, but I can't let you go crazy, so let me help you find it. That's how it works. But those are not the scientific terms, obviously. So now I'm in, 3 days in to my decision not to journal anymore, and I find this really awesome way to journal. And so I'm thinking, okay, and I stopped what I was doing and I wrote like the different categories, and I wrote out a sentence about them on the first thing that I could find, which is my wall calendar. So that's a hot mess. But I wrote it on my wall calendar, just so I didn't lose the momentum of what I was feeling and what I was thinking. So I just wrote all, just a one-liner for each category of life. And I thought, well, this will still work in my Imagine Your Life journal, because you can write out that thing, weekly or monthly, right? Which is not tedious. You can write it out once a month, because sometimes you want to change it. Sometimes you want to add to it, or some things have manifested in that period of time, so you need to take those off and ask for new things, or don't ask for anything at all in that category, or maintain, or whatever. But if you have a way to write it periodically, but in between you're writing out other things, like you're just answering journal prompts, you're just quickly writing out. Let me tell you what the other part is. So later that same day, which was yesterday, I posted this on Facebook. My friend, my dear sweet friend from work, sent me a link to Oprah's, like a compilation of Oprah's speeches. And Oprah says in there, you should write 5 things that you're grateful for from the day right before you go to bed. And so here I am with this idea of like, okay, you got the Imagine Your Life journal. You only write out the big whole narrative once in a while. What goes in between? And then Oprah says, 5 things you're grateful for that happened during the day. And I go, oh yeah, I could do that. I would love to do that. At the end of the day, that's quick and easy. Reflecting on the day and saying 5 things that you're grateful for. Easy breezy, right? I told you I think in printables. So I'm hearing Oprah and I'm seeing a printable. I'm like, okay, yes, I could do that. And so what would you do first thing in the morning? Well, what do I already do first thing in the morning? I say the 3 things that I'm grateful for when I very first wake up. It's become a habit. It takes a while, because at first you'll forget to do it, but as you continue to do it, it becomes a habit. So now, before my eyes are even open, I'm already like saying things I'm grateful for. But it could also be that you say 3 things that you want to happen for the day. And it's kind of like pre-paving. Abraham Hicks calls it pre-paving, where you are setting the intention for the day. 3 to 5 things. You're just kind of saying what you are looking forward to happening in the day. And they can be magical things, or they can be like concrete things. Like you have a big presentation, you look forward to it being a success, for someone to actually make a specific comment. Like you want to be specific sometimes too, because you want to say, I want my boss to come up afterwards and say like, this is the best idea I've ever seen this year, or something like that, because those things actually happen. I did that before and I got comments that were exactly like that and better. It was amazing. What's popping in my head right now is that the scripture that says exceedingly abundantly above all we ask and think, because that's what happens. You pre-pave, you say, this is what I like for today, and then you get that and more. Exceedingly abundantly above all you ask and think. And when I got those comments, it was above all I could ask or think, and I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting something similar, but this was even better. So you want to leave space for the universe, but you also want to ask for what you want. So, and the magical things that it could be is like, you could say, I want free coffee today, or something like that. And what happens is that normally you may go through your day and you're offered free coffee in certain other cryptic ways, but this particular day, when you say I'd like free coffee, you actually hear it. You actually hear, your mind lights up when, somebody is, or you're in the right place at the right time when there's, free coffee, or you get a Starbucks gift card for something, or you win something. I mean, it's random. So I'm thinking about that now for the Imagine Your Life journal. Instead of tasking people with rewriting this entire statement every single day, or a version of it, which is what I was doing, which is fine. It's like a diary. Oh, my throat hurts. It's sore. So that happened. So this was yesterday, and I was like, wow, I could still journal, but just not in the way I was doing it, and still make it fun, and also give myself permission to take a break when I need a break. And that's totally fine. Doesn't mean my world is going to come crashing down or anything like that. So here's the thing about money. We all want what we want for a very specific reason, no matter what it is. We want it because we think it'll make us feel better if we have it. That's the whole reason we want anything. I just heard, I don't even know where I heard this, but it's talking about, maybe it was Carrie Green. It's talking about, why do people open emails? Or maybe, no, it was that Michelle, whatever her name is, who does the Convert Kit. Angel Marie, that's her name, Angel Marie. So it was one of those little webinars of like, how to get people to open your emails, right? I don't even have emails, but whatever. And she was like, why do people open emails? And the answer was, because they want to make their life better. And it's true. So the headline of an email, if it says like there's a sale and it's a store that you like, or it says there's, something from a friend, whatever it is, the only reason why you open your email is because you think that in some sort of way, whatever it is it's in that email is going to help you and make your life better. Even at work. So I delete a ton of emails at work. And secrets out, I have rules around some of my emails. I have emails that go to a basket, not a basket, like a folder, automatically, called stupid crap, and it's based on the history of whoever's sending it and what they've been sending. And if it's not worth my time to look through it, it goes directly to the stupid crap folder. And I have another folder called Energy Vampires, because there's some, like I said, based on the history of what the person has sent, if it's gonna sap my energy or like totally crap my day, it goes directly to the folder, and I deal with it when I'm ready to deal with it. So the other things that are in my email, I delete them if by the title or whatever, the subject line, if it doesn't seem like anything is interesting to me, I just delete it. But the other things I open is like information, like if my patients have appointments that are coming up, I open that because that's going to help me schedule my time and know where everybody's going. So that makes my life easier, makes it better. So even at work, even when they're not like pleasant, fun emails, you still open them because they're going to make your life better. Why do we want anything? Why do you want a Bath and Body Works scented lotion? Because you want it to make your life better. You want to smell some, good aromatherapy. You want it to make your life better. So anything, if you think of anything that you want right now, if you think, why do I want that? The answer is invariably because I think it'll make my life better. I've tested this. I heard this maybe a week ago, and ever since then I've been thinking of everything I want, and I'm like, yep, because I think it'll make my life better. In some way, I think it'll make my life better. Now, why do we want money? Why do we want money? We want money because we think that having the money will make our life better. Well, how? Because money itself, I mean, what do you just want to sit it in the bank and like have a nice bank balance? Like, what's the point? You know, what do we want money for? And I started to think about this because when I heard that, you know, information I just told you, I applied it to money and it didn't fit for me. It didn't fit. I was like, why do I want money? Do I think money's going to like make my life better? Yes, but it's not the money that's going to make my life better, right? Because you get money all the time. You get money, you spend it, you get it, you spend it. And so the idea is money is a tool, which we know this. Money is a tool. Money is not the end game. Money is not the number one thing. But money is a tool. Money is an awesome tool. You know, people say, oh, money, loving money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. Money is a warm home. You know, money is a college education. Money is safety for someone who needs to get out of an abusive relationship. You know, money is a tool to get these other things. And what are the other things? The other things are what we think will make our life better. So we need money to get the things that we think will make our life better. But also, if we do have a pile of money sitting in the bank, that is also a feeling of security, such as our retirement plan. Right? We have a retirement plan that's made up of money. In our retirement plan, if it's a sufficient amount to make us feel like, okay, once we're not working anymore, we will still be able to eat and live. And even more than that, we feel secure. We feel safe, comfortable. We feel like, okay, we're going to be okay. We're going to be all right. We won't be eating cat food. We'll be okay. And that's the same idea. If we feel like it'll make our life better. So money itself, if structured in the right way, feels like it'll make our life better. But then the things that money will buy, we feel like will make our life better. So when we're trying to manifest something, meaning that we're asking God for it, we're trusting that He's already provided it somewhere down the line in our future, and then we're opening ourselves up to receiving it. If we're doing that, are we doing that for money? Are we doing that for... Sorry, somebody called me. It was like a prank call. Not a prank call, kind of a prank call. So are we asking for money, or are we asking for the thing that money can buy? And my epiphany, I said all of that to lead up to what my epiphany was. So my epiphany was about vibration. If you know about law of attraction, we've talked about it before, the frequency that you're on attracts other things that are on that same frequency. So if so it's like a radio dial. If you're here in Houston, we have 97.9 The Box. And then we have like 89.3 KSBJ. 89.3 is the contemporary Christian station. 97.9 is like hip hop. So if you are in the mood for worship, right? If you want to worship with contemporary Christian music, but you got your radio dial set to 97.9 The Box, you ain't going to get worship music. You're going to get trap music or something. I don't even know. I haven't listened to it in years. But you're going to get like hip hop music. You're not going to get contemporary Christian. That's the same way that our bodies work, that our frequencies work, that our minds work. You have to be on the same wavelength, the same frequency as the thing that you want in order to get it, for it to be attracted to you. Jim Rohn has this quote that kind of fits here, where he says, if you win the lottery, you better become a millionaire real quick, so you get to keep the money. I thought that was so funny. The first 17 times I heard that, I did not understand what he was talking about. But after I understood this and I started like manifesting things, I was like, oh, because what happens is, if you win $1 million, say you win the lottery, you win $1 million, but you're not mentally a millionaire yet, you will blow through that money so fast. You will be like back to your same baseline level of brokenness in less than a year, probably, because you'll just spend it. 2 years, I think 3 years is the average, so people just go back to being like super bankrupt, because mentally you're not a millionaire. So Jim Rohn says, if you win the lottery, you better become a millionaire. I mean, it's like you win the lottery, you've become a millionaire, right? No, you haven't. You've gotten $1 million. But until you become a millionaire mentally, you don't get to keep the money. I thought that was funny. So you have to be on the same wavelength for the thing that you want. So the reason I was able to pay off my debt so fast at the beginning of this year is because I kind of got this. It was at the beginning stages of me understanding how this worked, but I knew that if I wanted to be debt-free, then I needed to think that I was already debt-free. So I put myself in those shoes. I put myself in that position of being debt-free. I just realized why my throat was hurting is because I'm blowing cold air in my face, and that really irritates my cough. So I knew I needed to be in a position like on the same wavelength of being debt-free. So I started to think, well, if I was debt-free, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What would that be like? And I just imagined it all the time. And suddenly I had all these opportunities to make it happen, and it was very easy, and everything just fell into place. Like the door was open, the door was open, the door was open. And it was amazing. So it happened very fast. I thought it would take 5 years, and I was imagining myself 5 years in the future, and it took like 3 months, and that was that, or 5 months or something. All total, from beginning to end, it was 14 months. We were out of debt. $300 and something thousand. We were out of debt. So now I say, okay, if I want to be on the wavelength of what I want, I have to stop. Like, you can't focus on money. You can't focus on the money, because what is going to happen? Okay, so this is what happened. So yesterday I made a sale on eBay, and my sales are very few and far between. Number one, I don't advertise properly, not for eBay, but for Etsy. I don't advertise properly because mentally I'm not ready for a whole lot of business really fast. I want my hub to be a certain way, the budgeting course that people get like for free when they get the planner. I want it to be quality. So I'm still rebuilding my hub right now based on the new budget diary. So I'm not ready for like an influx. So I haven't like been aggressively promoting anything. So my sales are very few and far between. But I do believe that when you get a sale, that you should celebrate, and you should be excited about it and thankful about it and all that. So I got a sale on eBay yesterday for a dress that I got to take to the post office today. And it was like over $100. It was like $105. And so I was excited. I was happy. I was like, yeah, this is great. It was awesome. But I always notice that every time I get a sale, it's like, so I'm flying high, right? Like I try to keep my vibrations high. I try to keep on a good positive note, like all the time throughout my day. Like in every situation, I'm like, be happy, be happy, be happy. And then I'll get a sale and I feel my happiness dip a little bit. And it's so counterintuitive to me. I feel a little dip. And I'm like, and every time it happens, I'm like, why do I feel worse when I get what I've been wanting? Because I'm always like, be happy and you'll get a sale, be in a position where you are excited that other people are getting sales, and you hear sales happening, and everybody's being prosperous and it's all exciting. And then I get a sale and I'm like a little bit less happy for a minute. I'm just like, and a lot of times it's because I'm thinking, it's the fear inside of me. It's like, oh my gosh, this person just got my product. Oh, I hope they don't get disappointed. I hope it's good enough. I hope they don't go to the hub and be like, is this it? Is this a budgeting course? This is crap. And then I'll be like, no, I'm not done with it yet. I'm not done. So it's like, that's a little bit mixed in there. it's just like it's like I'm happy, but I'm a little bit afraid. And I forced myself to celebrate. But yesterday, we had, so I'm a member of this collective. That's what I was talking about before with the coaching call that we had yesterday and last week. So he's doing this new thing where he's doing a coaching call every week. And the coaching call yesterday, I'm on the call and I'm listening in, and this group, to be in this coaching group, is like $95 or $98 a month. And initially, I wasn't willing to pay that much because I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't at the stage of my life or of this year to want to pay $100 a month for coaching. But then suddenly I got to that point and I was like, I'm ready to pay for coaching. And then this guy appeared and he had the group, and it's like a power manifesting group. So it's like an Abraham Hicks. He's an Abraham Hicks person. And I was like, well, this is the perfect coaching group. And it's awesome. It's amazing. I love it. But I had some resistance the first month, which was August, about paying that much, which is, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a ton, but it's more than I've ever paid for coaching before. And he gave me a discount. He said, here, you can get in a group for $28. And I was like, hallelujah, right? And so I had a whole month to think about the fact that the next month was going to be $98, not $28. And how did I feel about that? And the group was so wonderful. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally ready. I'll pay it. It's fine. And then so yesterday what happened was I got this sale, and then I got on this coaching call, and I put the two and two together, and I said, you know what I just sold for $105 pays for my coaching call for $98, and I could probably get myself a cup of coffee for free. Like it'll pay for also a cup of coffee at Starbucks or something like that. And that made me so happy. I was so excited. And so it was crazy because I was like, we're not doing all this for money. We're doing all this for the things that money can buy that will make us feel like our life is better. Right? So it's not, the money is a tool. Sorry, money. I don't mean to be mean to money. Like, money is the tool, but it's more of the exchange. It's the energy of the exchange. So it's like, I sold the dress and I was like, okay, yeah, I sold the dress. Well, I better throw in some pretty packaging or something so to make it worth her while. It's like this stupid stuff that goes on in my head. But then when I realized that that sale had actually just paid for something that I had already committed to buying, it was an even exchange, and I was like, okay, now we're good. And so that changes, which when I meditate, I don't meditate on money. That's not how it goes. I meditate so I can quiet my mind. But why am I trying to quiet my mind? I'm trying to quiet my mind so I don't have anxiety, so that I know what my next steps are in my business, so I can move efficiently towards the best next version of me that I can. Well, that involves money, but when I attract it, I'm not satisfied. Like, money is not the end. Like, we're not satisfied by that. Like, when you get money, you don't just feel like, okay, great, I have money. No, you're like, okay, now I can pay my bills. Now I can exchange this money for things that keep me happy, like the lights being on, the water being warm, the roof being over my head, these things. And so that makes a huge difference. So this is what I heard Abraham Hicks. I'm not going to remember who said it, and I don't want to waste your time thinking of it, but it might have been in the collective call yesterday. But the epiphany that I had was that we don't anticipate the money coming. We anticipate the life that we want. We visualize and daydream ourselves into the life that we want. And then, if that life requires money, then money will show up as part of the manifestation of that life. right? So if we're saying, I want healthy kids, I want my kids to be healthy and brilliant and kind, then that doesn't involve money necessarily all the time. So we'll go through our life and our kids will be healthy and brilliant and kind, and things will be fine. They may, end up whatever it is, they may end up doing whatever it is that makes them healthy, brilliant, and kind. But if we say we want to live, I want to live near the beach, walking distance, and I have it all in my mind, I can see it. Well, if the moving, this is the way I actually thought about it, the moving expenses to move all my stuff to the beach, the home that we'll live in, all these things cost money. I'm not focused on, I need, $200,750. I'm not focused on that when I'm getting quiet, when I'm thinking about it all. I'm not focused on that. What I'm thinking of is the having of it. And so what happens is the universe says, okay, so you're going to have this, so you're going to need the money to pay the movers, you're going to need the money to get the house, you're going to need this, you're going to need that. That's like built into the package, and so that gets delivered to me along with the manifestation of it. And all I have to do is recognize that when the money comes in, I recognize this is the money for the move. This is the money for the new apartment. This is the money for whatever. Like with the kids being healthy, brilliant, and kind, this is the money for the school or the extracurricular activity or whatever it is. Like, this is the money that goes for that. And all I have to do is recognize that that's what it's for. And so it takes the focus off money. Like, I still believe in attracting money and ways to attract money. I still believe in that, because it's important. Because otherwise, if you don't have a healthy relationship with money where you are attracting it in the right way by treating it properly, then what happens is the money is going to come. So you're going to say, oh, I want to live on the beach and I need to move. I'm going to have moving expenses. And the moving expenses will come into your experience. Like, you'll be a vibrational match to the move, and the money will come into your experience. But if you have a poor relationship with money, you'll take the money, go straight to Macy's, spend all the money, and now you can't move. You get the difference? The difference being, I know my camera's all wonky. The difference being that you're not a match to the money because you don't know how to relate to money. You still have a bad relationship with money. It's the same thing like with the winning the lottery and not being a millionaire. You don't relate to it well. So I think the first steps are to heal that relationship with money. And I've done that, and I'm still working on it. But I have come across, and I use so many interesting, fun little ways that I do that. And so I have this free email course that's like 8 weeks long. You get an email every week, and with like fun ways to heal your relationship with money. And then I have 12 more that are going into a course called Cash BFF, How to Make Money Your Best Friend Forever. And that one's fun too. It's like, lots more of those same fun practices. And so I have a lot of ways to like heal the relationship with money, because I needed a lot of ways. I had a very poor relationship with money. So I needed a lot of ways. And so I have a ton to share. And, it's just a matter of time. Like, all these things, I want to release it to you guys. It's like I have to have time to put it out there. But so that was my epiphany, was that I'm not going to sit in the desire for money. Money is just a game. It's just a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to sit in the desire for that. I'm going to sit in my expectation of the life that I want. And then when the money is required to create that life, I just have to like believe and have faith that it'll show up when the time is right. And it always does. It always does. It's like labor pain, right? We forget. You have labor pain. It's the worst thing ever. You think you're going to die and it's over. You got the baby. You're just like, what? Did it hurt? I don't even remember. And so we forget that the money always shows up. We forget that our needs are always met. Always met. We're never going without. Even if it's something bad, even if you are homeless and your needs have gone, you've gone without your needs. You've gone without shelter or food or water or something like that for a period of time. It was for a reason, a bigger reason. And when you look back on it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's why that happened. This has made me such a better person. I can help other people. I mean, it's like that experience, life experience is not wasted. It's always for a reason. So I hope you got something out of this. I want to tell y'all again that it's 8:21 and I was like set to be early for work today. And I don't know how or why I keep doing this to myself. I need to heal my relationship with time is what I need to do. Because I'm totally doing this to myself, that it doesn't matter what I do in the morning, whether I have my kids with me or not, whether my husband's home and he takes the kids to school, it doesn't even matter. I'm always getting to work like 8:25. Park in the car, same time, every day, no matter what. And it's something that I'm doing. And I think my upper limit problem, like the paradigm shift, the mindset shift I need to have, is that I don't see myself getting to work early. And because I don't see myself getting to work early, I drive slower when I'm early. I'm like, I'm set, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be early today. And then I'm driving like 70 miles per hour or something like that. Or 65, or, I'm just going slower than I normally do, which throws my times off. So I got to work on that. I'm going to work on that because I've been working on getting up earlier and doing all this other stuff, but I'm self-sabotaging along the way. So I'm like, even on the freeway, I'm going slower when I could just get there early and on time. I'm telling you this because it's the same thing we do with our diets. If you've ever tried to lose weight, it's the exact same thing that we do. You are on the right track. You're doing something good. You're down 7 pounds. You're losing weight. People start giving you compliments, and what do? Start eating a little more chocolate. You go to get a donut. You feel a little loosey-goosey with the extra sugar. And it's like, oh, I can go ahead and slip this in. And we self-sabotage because we don't see ourselves as being the best version of ourselves. Diane! It's true. I have this saying that I say in my head. Not about work, of course, because I am actually trying to be early at work. But for family gatherings and stuff, I'll be like, oh, sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come. I'm late because I don't want to be here. But that's not true for work. I actually do want to be at work. That's so horrible. I do want to be at work. But yeah, sometimes at family gatherings, I'm like, dragging my feet. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm just here. I usually end up enjoying it, but sometimes I don't. So we do the same thing with our diet where we're just kind of like sabotaging ourselves slowly. So then we end up back at our same weight. So if you let's say you weigh 200 pounds and then you actively try to lose weight and you start losing weight and you go down to like 194 and people are like, oh my gosh, girl, you look good and this and that. And then you're like, oh, thank you. But in your mind, you haven't decided that you're like 175 yet. Like you haven't, and that's what I'm working on right now. Like you haven't pictured yourself at 175. You haven't made your Pinterest vision board of like people who are the ideal weight that you want to be, where you feel like that's you. And you're looking at it and you're saying, that's me. You haven't made your mind believe that you are the weight that you want to be. And so it's so stupid. And the crazy thing is this meeting used to be at 8:15 and people would be kind of running around late. So they made it 8:30. And then what do? We just adjust ourselves and keep running around late. So whatever. I got to be a better person. All right. good luck today. I hope that you can be a better person too. And I will talk to you tomorrow. If you have any questions for me, if you want me to talk about a specific topic, just let me know, and I will ask the universe to give me some divine inspiration. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Be good.